Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, he washed me white as snow. Praise you, Jesus.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report, the Ground Report.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
The Ground Report, the Ground Report.
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company.
Round the clock, you can't stop, you're on the go. KFC have something for you, so delicious, it's a favorite meal. On KFC we deal is the real thing. Come get a whole meal on your time, eh? We deal when you're busy, you could still be happy when you get on KFC, we deal.
When you're on the go, you always have time for a delicious meal with the KFC We Deal. Enjoy 2 pieces of golden chicken and 2 regular sides for only $34.95 today. From KFC, it's finger licking good.
David Guide and Son Funeral Services, with locations in High Street, Siparia, Port of Spain, Couva, San Fernando, and Point Fortin. David Guide and Son Funeral Services is the choice for you. Having to lose someone you love is already hard, so funeral services and arrangements should be made easy. And at David Guide and Son, that services at affordable prices. Our services include funeral pre-arrangement packages, casket customization, great customer service, the latest in body preparation technology, and the best fleet of vehicles to give your loved ones the send-off they deserve. With 5 convenient locations located nationwide, feel free to call or visit us today. With full packages starting from as low as $7,500, call David Guide and Son Funeral Services today. Distinctive, not expensive.
The Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Trinidad and Tobago presents Brunch on the Mount, Sunday, April 28th, 2024, at the Seminary of Mount St. Benedict. Price is $150. Breakfast will be served from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Lots of door prizes and entertainment. Plus, Mass will be held at 5, 7, and 8:30 a.m. on the Mount. Tickets are available now from all conferences. Come join in fellowship and praise as we do Brunch on the Mount.
I love you, Lord.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Need quality printing at affordable prices? Then look no further. At Graphic Source, we've got you covered. Take your project to the next level for all your designs and printing needs. From t-shirt printing to labels, signs, and banners. Look no further. Business stamps, flyers, tickets, and invites, just to name a few. With 2 convenient locations. Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine, opposite Massey's Stores. And Arima Shopping Center, Broadway Street, Arima. Contact us today. 342-2664, 270-0428, or 360-8917. Graphic Source, your #1 source. You name it, we design it and print it.
On Saturday, 11th May, the night before Mother's Day, Goodfellas and Notorious Promotion presents From Then to Now.
It's called Ippity Alpha, don't stop rock.
From Then to Now. At Club Eatings, Ojo Road, Sangre Grande. Doors open from 9 p.m. till. With artists performing live, Swappy, Irfan Els, and surprise guests with your DJs, DJ Romero, Dario Sound Movement, The Perfect One, Mega D, Sean 3.0, and J-Wise, DJ Nigel, and many more. Get your tickets now. Tickets available at the venue. And committee members. Tickets cost $100. Call 764-4837 and 463-7303. Get your tickets early. It's the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Saturday, 11th May. All roads lead to Club Eatings, Ojo Road, Sangre Grande.
Put food on your table. ADC is affordable. Shop at ADC Supermarket, Cleaver Road. A very comfortable and clean environment. These prices are unbelievable. Come see for yourself. We have the best alcohol prices. Don't miss out. Get those specials on liquor. Put food on your table with ADC Supermarket, conveniently located at number 4 Cleaver Road in Arima. Every Friday and Saturday is real vibes and live entertainment from your very own DJ Christian on Friday and Saturday. Everyone is talking about ADC Supermarket. Shop in comfort and in a clean environment with the best prices for all your grocery needs. Secured parking. Remember, free delivery. Put food on your table. ADC is affordable. ADC Supermarket, number 4 Cleaver Road in Arima.
Masha, I ain't gonna lie, Baila Luna was real nice. I feel I want to try a thing on a girl.
You serious? Let me hear you. Try a thing.
Yeah, man. Done it up. Anything we say, me never allow done it up.
No. The talent that came here at La Luna, yeah, ready for them yet. No. Sunday, 28th of April, Kirby's Bar and Lounge comes alive. Chase Village in Chaguanas, as it's the Kiskity Caravan Talent Search comes alive. Bring your talent and come. Can you sing? Be sure to bring your flash drive with your accompanying music if so needed. It's all about the relaunch of the Kiskity Caravan. Auditions start promptly at 2 p.m. Be on time. No matter your talent, bring it and come. And follow our TikTok page today, Iconic 1047. Just look for our logo. Be there this Sunday. Cause you feel as you alone practicing. You feel as you alone practicing. Unbreak my heart.
Hey, oh God, your voice husky like a coconut. That man, you're trying.
More music festival.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Disclaimer. More FM Limited, its owners and associates, accepts no responsibility for statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. More FM Limited does not endorse any of the information provided during this commercially booked segment as the truth. That you have to judge for yourself. We, however, reserve the right to question statements made. But in this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and corruption, it is sometimes hard to get the truth. But we must try. It is not our intention to discriminate or annoy anyone. We believe it is our constitutional right to free speech, to voice our opinion, and our duty to the population and country to expose the truth. More FM Limited takes no responsibility for the opinions of others.
is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? Stand against. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? Stand against.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Time check. It's approximately 16 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report. Yours truly, the pitbull of radio, Lennox Smith, Michael Cook, Director Cup. Oh gosh, Director Newbie. And you people in your thousands of you out there. Good morning to you.
Water you turned into wine. Open the eyes of the blind. There's no.
Let me say a pleasant good morning to all maxi taxi drivers, PH drivers, bus drivers, truckers. Good morning to you. To all senior citizens, a pleasant good morning to you. To the physically challenged disabled people, a pleasant good morning to you.
Darkness you shine. Out of the air.
Not forgetting our sister Isle Tobago. Tobago, a pleasant good morning to you. Mr. Pleasant good morning to all stakeholders. Yes. All patriots, Trinbagonians. That's people that will put their God and their family first before race, religion, and politics. What is destroying our country?
You are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God.
Later on today, I would like to do an editorial, or will be, based on yesterday's interview.
To the darkness you shine. Out of the ashes we run.
Yes, with Attorney at Law Vashish Maharaj, or Maharaj, and the religious organization of my great respected Hindu people. I respect all religions. I respect everything, whether it be the Muslim religion, the Baptist. Most importantly, I respect people. And I will do an editorial on that a little later on when more people lock on. Let me me say pleasant good morning to each and every one of you that are locked on to us on YouTube and Facebook. Real Media TT on YouTube, Real Media TT on Facebook.
And if our God is for us,
Alisa, Job, Tara, all of you. Nadira, all of you.
with us, and what can stand?
Basdio, all of you. A pleasant good morning. Go Paul, all of you.
And who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand again?
Ronald Wilson, a pleasant good morning. Angela, good morning to you. Ted Gray, good morning. Fufu. Nice. Well, before we do that, let us go to Lennox Smith. Lennox Smith, what's in our headliners? A pleasant good morning to you, Lennox Smith.
Yes, indeed. A pleasant good morning to you as well, my friend. Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, and I hope you look forward to my editorial a little later on.
Well, yes, of course. I know.
But
that,
you go ahead by the time. Yes.
I got a prelude. I got a snippet, but I know that I too, like everybody else, will be waiting on the nitty gritty and the more, should I say, elaborate beyond what I gleaned this morning. But that being as it may, let's go straight, of course, to the lines. But before I go there, let me say a pleasant good morning to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. I want to also apologize for not having, of course, as promised, the corridor. I know that some people might have been saying, well, listen, the corridor was there, and Mr. Smith said yesterday that we would have had one last night, and maybe I'd missed it. Well, no, you missed nothing. I simply did not have one last night because of an unfortunate circumstance or situation that I encountered during the course after the program. In fact, my car, one of the cars, of course, broke down. Then it was as a result of a gas pump problem. So guess what? We eventually got the mechanic, and then we went about fixing. I bought the pump and all of that. I always find it very, to me, harrowing and possibly dangerous for a pump to be inside of the gas tank in order to pump gas. I know long time the pump was separate from the gas tank and so on, and as a result, you reduce any untoward circumstance in that way. But modern technology, I suppose. So that happened, and the pump was given some problems according to the mechanic, and he take out the battery and bring it to where the open gas tank, with full of gas, and boy, a spark occurred, and the whole gas tank was lit up. The Lord moves in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform. When I saw that, when the mechanic saw it, he too shocked, I shocked. And we opened, of course, the back of the vehicle is a wagon, and I started to pull out things. My favorite, of course, dancing pants on a Friday. My trousers that got burnt up in the whole melee. But I called for persons to assist us with the fire service and all that. And just next door, we had, of course, a home with I called for water. Two very, should I say, amiable senior citizens. They came out with a bucket of water and so on, but fortunately, according to the gentleman, Mr. Emmanuel, I believe it is, thank you very much, sir, for your assistance. He said that water just came because he just used the toilet for the day, and he said he gave us some water. And then, of course, all that time, the fire lighting and, of course, the things burning, the mechanic used the back seat, the back part of the seat to, of course, try to cover it down. Well, he was in panic, of course, because that was a piece of flammable items that he added flame to the fire, and he is inside of the vehicle. And I'm looking, I say, well, by that time I said the vehicle is destroyed, so I almost give up at that point in time. And then, of course, when the little bit of water came, a half bucket of water in the initial stage, I had some towels and so on that I would normally keep to go on the beach impromptu. Well, boy, I think that saved the day. I got the idea, well, listen, let me soak that because there's no water. So let me soak that in the water, 2 of them, and then cover the hole, a gaping hole that exposed the whole tank of gas. Boy, it was really harrowing. I wanted, because there's a lesson here. And then, of course, I threw it over the hole, both towels, and of course, as a consequence, the oxygen that the fire would have needed in order to continue, well, that was stifled, and because it didn't get that source of ignition was eliminated, the fire out. But if you see how much the gas was almost filled. I was looking for an explosion, that kind of thing, and the man inside there, and he's so should I say distraught, but I had concluded that the vehicle will be destroyed, but the fire eventually out. And then, of course, we had almost a good laugh, but he got a slight burn on his thumb, and that saved the day. What I want to tell, what is the lesson? Well, I want to tell people that when, of course, you have a situation like that, I don't think I'm unique in that sense. Try to cut off the source of oxygen. And that full tank of gas could have turned out to be, of course, a bomb that could have, of course, exploded, and you never could tell what might have happened. The nearby buildings might have burnt, etc., etc. So please, and I'm sure we will get a fireman as well to come on the program to instruct us as to what happens in such unforeseen situations. But I want to thank all those who came. Yes, all the flammable material I pulled out of the back of the vehicle. I got a book burn, as I said, my favorite, dancing pants. But of course, at the end of the day, the vehicle was saved. We have a little burn at on the seat that he was using to try to cover it over, rather than, of course, use that little bit of water, but soak it in that particular. Soak those towels in that water, cover the hole so that oxygen couldn't get in, and the fire was eventually doused. So I just thought I should share that with you, and of course you yourself, if you find yourself in that situation, you would know what to do, because I've seen so many vehicles on the highways and so on burnt to a frazzle, and I wanted to know, well, how that is possible. Well, I had that experience yesterday, so I can tell you. So you understand why I couldn't have a program last night, because we finished. By the time I jumped back the mechanic, it was around 7 o'clock. I said, no, I had a long, hurried day, so let me go and sleep. And of course, this morning got up to do what I have to do. That being as it may, of course, a Tobago Emergency Operation Center downgrades oil spill response. So we have a situation where I think it has moved from orange to yellow. So they're saying that the response has been sufficiently responded to, or should I say that oil spill has been sufficiently responded to, so that they are now saying that they are nearing, of course, normalcy. Not quite there. They are in yellow at this point in time, according to the Tobago Emergency Operations. 75 Defense Force reserves urge save country with honor, or should I say serve country with honor and distinction. Well, of course, coming from the Minister of National Security, one could only take that superficially and superfluously, because I don't think he himself is any example of serving the country with honor or distinction. So let's get that clear. It depends, of course, on the source. So I'm sure that just as Dr. Rowley these days, journalists are laughing at him, and of course across the Caribbean and the hemisphere, but I'm sure that they would have been taking that with a huge dose of salt, those statements. If it had come from a serious person, well then, but from the Minister of National Security is just a joke. That being as it may, of course, but that's par for the course. Another baby dies at Port of Spain General Hospital, neonatal unit. Yes, indeed. Another one, of course, the Northwest NWRHA, of course, was quick to indicate to the public that it has nothing to do with that three pathogens that dominated and created, of course, the havoc in the hospital between the 4th and 7th of this month. And so they were clear, they say that it is unrelated, etc., etc. But of course, we would want to confirm that by independent sources. We cannot trust anything coming from this government, whether directly, indirectly, by its agencies, etc. But they are doing their best to try to talk about transparency, accountability. Whilst, of course, the parents of those 11 have now, of course, engaged in taking legal action to get some kind of remedy, some kind of respite, some kind of recourse for those tragic circumstances that the country was subjected to and traumatized. Imbert government receives 2.1 billion from NGC. Of course, yes, and you know this government has a tendency to talk about NGC as a cash cow, and that the last government, exploited it. But we are yet to know what this money would have been used for. But of course, Imbert, responding to a question in Parliament on the subject, indicated that $2.1 billion was received by NGC, I think, up to last year. And of course, I took the opportunity to compare it with what the UNC received. But I want to say that the same reason that Imbert and they are using these monies is the same reason advanced by the former administration for the use of the monies as well. But of course, once it's used by someone else, they have this moral and ethical misplace as it is, hypocritic as, or should I say, the hypocrisy that they would normally exhibit, pretending to be, of course, holier than thou, when in fact they are engaged in extremely nefarious and profligacy conduct and misappropriation of projects and resources. But of course, they will try to deflect attention away from themselves. But I want to say that the same reason why the UNC used the NGC's profit is the same reason this government is using to utilize those profits. But the big difference is that I think is what, to 2022, for the first time, NGC made a loss. That's a huge difference between, of course, the then administration and the current administration under the leadership of Keith Christopher Rowley. This total and absolute blight. Makashi, OSHA initiated court action on Paria tragedy. Well, this is a development story. The OSHA did in fact initiate action against Paria for breach of health and other regulations, according to the OSHA. That particular piece of legislation that deals with industrial health and safety. And so, of course, we await, it has started in the magistrates court, and we await the outcome of that and what the circumstance and the content to, of course, give us an appreciation as to what transpired. Of course, the bigger picture is that the government has failed to assist the families of these divers who would have died in such tragic circumstance, and in spite of the requests off the record, so to speak, by the commissioner or the commission of inquiry commissioners, asking for some kind of compensation, and in spite outside, of course, of any legal responsibility. And of course, a meeting with the Prime Minister bore no fruit in that regard. So the people continue to suffer. Whilst, of course, he talks about the insurance have been communicated with, and it suggested that Dr. Rowley, is waiting on the insurance company to probably compensate those families. In the meantime, suffer. PAHO begins a probe into NICE, that particular aspect or that particular unit in the hospital, the Port of Spain hospital, that is responsible for the deaths of those 11 persons. Of course, one recently that is not connected. They were quickly was able to appease the population by issuing a press release in that regard. And Narayan closes, of course, door on calls to play at T20 World Cup. Well, of course, you know that will be playing in the West Indies pretty soon, and of course, Dr. Rowley was asked as the man responsible for cricket. I don't know why they will give this man these kinds of public relations, good relations responsibility in as far as the CARICOM is concerned. He had responsibility for crime, he has and security. He has responsibility for cricket, and by now they should know that anything Dr. Rowley touches, of course, turns to vapor, a pillar of salt, so to speak, to use a biblical term. So that is what is on the offering at this point in time. So Narayan is saying, no, no matter what Rowley says, I'm not going to engage in Caribbean cricket again. So he has retired, and of course he's doing wonders in India in the IPL. I think he made his maiden century, first century since playing cricket. So he's doing well, and of course the rewards there, the financial rewards, I think cannot be compared, or put another way, what he's going to get in the West Indies cannot be compared to what he's getting in India. Kidnap Freeport man, 78, released, of course, inspired. Yes, so what again? Let me see. Lee, of course, that is the deputy political leader of the UNC. Dragon deal squeezed by US Venezuela. Of course, this government would like to make us believe that the 30 years arrangement, and I think I should focus there, 30 years arrangement gotten from Venezuela, they will make you believe that somehow the deal is up and running and not in jeopardy. Well, let me tell you this categorically. The deal that they got from Venezuela is separate and distinct from the US deal. And they could have 50 years to an arrangement with Venezuela. It is irrelevant, it is ocious, it is null and void and of no effect. If the US says you have 2 years and the final part of it is next year, November, thereabout, and it takes about 4 years, as we have been saying on this program from time immemorial, you get a 2-year license, but it takes 4 years to manifest the outcome, then it means that therefore you got set up. And what we are witnessing now is that there has been no real work on that Dragon gas deal to come to Trinidad and Tobago's waters and our platform in order, of course, to benefit from the gas that would be derived. We are yet to know how much money was paid up front. We understand that money was paid up front to the Venezuelan authority with all those multiple trips by the Minister of Energy. I'm talking about Stuart Young here. They're silent on that, but they're trying to talk up the 30-year agreement with Venezuela. Well, that is irrelevant. And the Americans have, of course, pulled back those licensing because of Venezuela's authority. I'm talking about Maduro reneging on an arrangement for free and fair elections, and the leading contender opposition in Venezuela has been banned from, of course, contesting the election. So we know that Maduro is up to no good once again, and of course attempting, of course, to frustrate the electorate. But whilst that is happening, we must throw water on our own house here. When your neighbor's house is burning, And of course, we are looking very, very meticulously at Dr. Rowley and his administration as to how they propose to try to, as they have done in the past in 2015 and 2020, to of course get an unfair advantage at the electoral polls. And we are going to be looking at that. We'll be looking at the EBC and looking at other agencies that they would want to manipulate and undermine in order, of course, to subvert our democracy as we have seen in the past. And therefore, we have a duty and responsibility to monitor. Whilst, of course, that is happening in Venezuela, we must, of course, look at our own circumstance here in Trinidad. All right, okay. I cannot end by, of course, not mentioning the hero teams from Movant, yes, a community that I revere, love, and cherish. Those young men who, of course, moved into action, probably something like what I did in order to save my vehicle, but of course they were saving another person's vehicle and their lives, as well as they rushed to that accident on the Lady Young Road, and of course got the occupants who ended up, of course, with broken parts, bones, etc., and are now resting comfortable, I suppose, or maybe in agony, pain, as a consequence of that heroic, of course, gesture. I'm saying all of that because I don't want to overemphasize how significant it is for young people, and I trust that they will be noted. I will be making a note myself when, of course, that time comes around for national awards to see if these young people can get a national award for their heroism. All right. That being as may, of course, just one more PAHO team arrives. Probe into babies that begins. So the PAHO team is here, and of course, there has been some skepticism and some concerns as to the length of time, but in quick time, I suppose, comparatively speaking, and given all the circumstances, because the government firstly did not want us to know, but of course some whistleblower would have given us the information, and the opposition, as efficacious as it is and as concerned and people-centered, broke the news, and so they had to respond, and they have now been responding, and one of the ways is to initiate a PAHO investigation. That is to say, the Pan-American Health Organization, arm of the World Health Organization, for your information. But they are saying no room for external expert to probe into babies' death. Well, of course, the parents and the bereaved family want to get, of course, an independent expert as well, of course, I suppose, at the expense of the government, but an independent expert of their choice, so that you have the balancing act taking place there. Well, the Elsing is saying that there is no need for that because they have introduced PAHO into, of course, the whole mix. Let's see what again. And cabinet approval needed for WASA executive packages. Of course, those are the new managers that they expect to employ when they would have dismissed those. I understand quite a number of them managers that the government is saying that made the Water and Sewage Authority ineffective, and so they are appointing effective persons. Well, what is coming from this government? Better bottom dollar. It sounds good, but at the end of the day, delivery is extremely short. That being as it may, of course, those are the areas that I would want to address. Andy, of course, back to you, unless you have some issue that you want to raise that may or may not have been, of course, announced by myself. So we go back to Central. Andy, and of course your input. Once again, of course, a very good morning to all and sundry, and my apology for not having the corridor transformation last night. Andy? When he's silent like this, it means that he wants me to continue to raise some additional issues. So let me just do that. Grenadian Catholics move to hoist Trini Bishop Clive Harvey. Well, no matter where he goes, I suppose, of course, to use a biblical term as well, and an ecclesiastic one, as a practicing Baptist, I would want to, of course, comment on it, that, of course, the old people saying that your deeds will follow you no matter where you go. Well, of course, I think there is a situation in Grenada where the parishioners are asking for the removal of Clive Harvey as bishop there of St. George's, because he commented on a particular senior clergyman in the Catholic faith in Grenada who had taken a particular position between Palestine and Israel. And Harvey, chided that individual to the disapproval, the disapprobation of parishioners there, and there is, of course, an unfolding development taking place, so much so that they have written to the Vatican in order to have Clive Harvey removed from the position that he holds. Of course, I understand that he had reached a retirement age, and the Vatican had given him, of course, a 2-year extension. I suppose, as far as the parishioners are concerned, that are concerned about his conduct in Grenada, well, they would want that to be short-lived, I suppose. Again, Newman George, UNC wrong on cost of refinery mothballing. Well, this is typical of this administration. They try to make the cost the issue when, in fact, it ought not to have been mothballed in the first place. But, of course, they will try to extract political currency, which they do not have, and which their legitimacy has been waning for some time. In fact, it is clear that Dr. Rowley leads a lame duck administration. They just shame, or should I say bullface enough not to lie down now or call it election, in other words, in order, of course, to let the population revitalize itself. And as we have been saying, that we must live better, we want to live better, we want to do better. The people would love to make certain that we get better administration, better government, better governance, and the only way to do that is, of course, to call an elections, which is the prerogative of this administration, in order, of course, to bring in the UNC, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and a better government, people-centered, and so on, and we could relive the glory days between 2010 and 2015. After all, it was Dr. Rowley who said in no uncertain terms when the question was asked whether they are better off today than when they were under Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. And Dr. Rowley, of course, answered the question for probably one of the very few times speaking the truth, when he said that, of course, you have to be a fool under Kamala Prasad Bisesa when milk and honey was flowing and you weren't better off. So acknowledging that he has done poorly, he has done an injustice to the people, and ought to not have been in the first place conjured up by the PNM. But of course, that in itself speaks volumes as to the lack of, should I say, resources, human resource. They had to dig to the bottom of the barrel, below the bottom of the barrel, to bring up a person like Rowley, who clearly is unfit and has been unfit to be prime minister. And then you have, of course, he producing a fellow like Hines, and of course all the other members of his cabinet. I say so from, and painting a broad brush, not for any other reason than they were complicit in the decision to close down Petrotrin. They were implicit in the whole issue of the Anand Logan Ramdeen attempted to generate miscarriage of justice or to undermine the criminal justice system by, of course, acknowledging and accepting the Vincent Nelson $10 million, and Dr. Rowley up and down the place, of course, subsequently, as we know him to be, when things are not in their political favor, he then says he knows nothing about it, like Schultz in, of course, Hogan's Hero. But we know for a fact that he was up and down the country Rowley, when he was claiming that, of course, they want to put operatives of the UNC under Kamala Prasad Bisasa in handcuffs and blue lights. He was saying that up and down the place, and he even, of course, referenced the Malik case, where, of course, one of the persons that were involved turned state witness. Remember that? And he even referenced that, and saying that, of course, that occurred on this occasion with Vincent Nelson, and when it turned out, it was nothing. It was the furthest from the truth. And at any rate, you don't pay people in a criminal matter if their skins are on the line. Then that is what the compensation ought to be. But to actually pay them $10 million, $10 million, that is not just undermining the criminal justice system. It's not just a perversion of the course of criminal justice, but the entire cabinet ought to have dismissed itself on that basis alone. But they will not. And therefore, we have a duty and responsibility. It will be a long, hot 12 months for 2024. For this administration, they must understand that the people are not stupid as they believe, and that the 10 days and 8 days and 7 days and 9 days mentality days are over, as of course we have enlightened ourselves. And we have, of course, institutions such as the Ground Report, Corridor Transformation, and of course people like Alan Roberts and others who, of course, are prepared to do the research and make the ultimate sacrifice in your interests, so that you in turn can go to the polls comforted and feel firm in your resolve that this administration is unworthy of another term, having, of course, wormed its way under questionable circumstances to 2 terms so far. Talking about the fact that there is legal and court records to show that Dr. Rowley's intervention with respect to communicating with the chairman of the EBC in the 2015 elections, in the 2010 elections, 2015 elections, and then, of course, his deliberate attempt to undermine the electoral process by orchestrating not having the Commonwealth Secretariat at least send independent observers. And of course, and we have the details, so we can do that or reveal that as a separate program. And then, of course, we see the most classic of them all, when Dr. Rowley unilaterally, by himself, taken a decision to increase the number of seats in Tobago by 3, attempting, of course, to break the deadlock in his favor. And, of course, the EBC, the EBC succumbing to that undermining process, and therefore compromising their own integrity by, of course, looking at PNM dominated electoral districts in Tobago to create the additional 3 seats. But thank God, the people of Tobago set the pace, and therefore we know, and as I've always said, and wisely expected, not 1 seat for the PNM in Tobago, as we announced. The only media political analysts to, of course, hit the button on the head as far as the results of the Tobago elections are concerned. Whether you talk about Mr. X, etc., and you talk about the Caribbean pollsters and others, the fact of the matter is that they said it was a close one. We said it could never be. And whilst Andy and Mikey are not yet on board, I am saying, of course, that we are going to get in favor of the UNC and whatever arrangement that they would have made for the next elections. I am looking at 28 seats, and therefore not just a landslide, but a constitutional majority to do what is required to ensure that a fellow like Dr. Rowley and that character and personality never again disgrace the office of Prime Minister, that very hollow office, that very high office, that very significant office,
very
to treat with all of the problems of the country. You are back.
Yes.
All right, so I hand back to you, and if you need me for any clarification or any commentary, I am here. But back to you, Andy.
A pleasant good morning to you, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Yes, Andy, good morning. Lennox, good morning.
Good morning.
Mikey K and Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, I want to say to Lennox, I heard what happened, what you were saying with the car. Oh, God. We thank God, oh, Lord, boy. We thank God that you are here with us, and it could have been serious, but, oh, Lord, I don't know what to say in circumstances.
Yeah, I
like
prayed whole night last night. I
Oh,
prayed whole night.
God.
And continue to do, yeah.
Thank God he is a praying soul, man. But Warren, I can understand. I heard another baby die. It's alleged. Why is it they don't take all the babies and open up the Cuba hospital so that they could put the babies there? The babies is our next generation to come. Is the Prime Minister, the President of this country. Why they don't do that? All the babies just dying just like that. I just hope we wouldn't have a cover-up. That is all I hope. But you know, in this country, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
All right, Ole, have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Miss La Roqueta. Morning caller, where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning? What's on your front burner?
Good morning, Andy.
Pleasant good morning to you.
Lennox. Good morning.
Good morning.
Trinidad and Tobago. My front burner issue this morning is the PNM minority leader. Last week, Monilal talked about how much money this government spend on foreign trips. Yesterday, he came up with the same thing, how much money the THA spend on foreign trips. I would like to ask that man, or to tell that man, go and get the zip line. Go and find all the roads that money was paid for, and they cannot find them in Tobago. When he get that and come back to me, he could talk about the THA. Thank you.
Yeah, political cobos.
Morning caller, where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Good morning to you, Mr. Andy. Good morning to Mikey. Good morning to Lennox. Good morning to you all. And Ruby. Mike, Andy, you know who's speaking to you?
Go ahead, I will catch the voice while you're speaking.
Okay, my brother. Blessings on the Almighty God that you come back out. I still your brother. Andy, I love Rowley. Let he do what he is doing, because you know why? We people don't want to come out and do what we have to do. Andy, I there for you in Valencia. Though I am not a Valencia boy, but my family live in Valencia. And I love you, Andy boy. God bless you that you come out. Macano speaking to you, my brother.
Hey, Macano, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Oh, you don't call my name again? And
God, look
God, my brother. I look for you all. Wait. I look for you all home that when you were sick. I one man before you.
I know. Many people, but at that point in time, I just wanted to be by myself and do what had to be done in order for me to reach back at this point, the stage that I reached.
By spiritual living, Andy, I know you'll come back out. I pray for you. Andy, text me your number, because I lost your number. I changed your phone.
All right, Macano.
Boy, blessings to you, my brother. Glad to hear
Hey, take the number one time while you're on, because you know at the time the program done, I might forget that. 366.
I have a pen with
Nothing, just press it on the phone, ring it and hang up. Your new phone, just press in the number. 366
366
30
53 366 3530.
Yes, 3053.
3053.
Nice, and then you just ring it and hang up. I will see her, because it's the same number. I will see her. I will see your number show up.
All right, my brother. All the best.
So let me make sure. So anybody else who wanted my number, Valencia and environs, I didn't need my number is for the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, but everybody know my interest is Toco, Sandy Grande, Valencia, and getting that opportunity to serve the people. So let me give you the number again, so whoever wants it will be able to get it one time. 366
Yes, sir. Andy, the man, Andy, I got old man now, you know. Me and the young boy again, you know. Oh God, boy, I'm glad.
I ain't mind because I have a lot of people who always want my number. So while you ask and I'm giving it live, the others who wanted my number will get it one time. So your delay will only help that because I need to speak
Boy, Andy,
to
boy,
the people of Toko,
sorry,
Sandy Grande and environs.
I had things to bring for you, boy, Andy, boy, and I didn't get on to your call at all, boy. For God bless him.
Right, so you ready for the number again?
Yes, no, I can't get on. The next phone and all, it's going to be blasted thing. I know, wake up and all.
I don't realize when I told you number that you didn't get it yet. Hence the reason why
I
I'm on the
understand
phone.
why Mikey does say, do your thing before next year.
Yeah.
Hey, during the course of the program, call, I'll get a pen and I will get it.
All right, so during the course of the program, I will mention the number again.
Right.
Right? The same number I'm mentioning for WhatsApp.
Hey, Lennox, where you going, buddy?
I'm alright, and your song and bubbling, man. So it means they're ready for them.
Boy, Lennox, you know that you're ready for them, you know, my brother.
Yeah,
You know
thank you,
that.
man.
Okay, then all the best. Bless that. But you call me during the course of the program, Mikey, and Lennox, and I'll get a pen.
Yes. No
Andy,
problem.
right?
Aye. All right, look, Joe Moses, Lennox Smith, and Makano, send a message. Andy Williams, don't give out your number on air. Rowley go call you to meet you on the pavement, you know.
That's not moving on. That's not moving on, do that.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. These fellas are that dotish. That dotish. Yeah, it's nice simpleton thinking. Between the pavement. And he's not bad, you know. Rowley not bad, you know. You know, there's a standing joke in St. Babs when Sar was alive. He hit him one slap. He saw hit Rowley one slap on Balize steps. And all Rowley did after was only watching him bad eye all the time afterwards. That's a joke that is a standard one in St. Babs. That's on the hill in Laventille.
Nice. Oh boy, so the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah! Well, today's Tuesday and we continue to inform, to make sure that you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, can make informed decisions, because our problem, all the ills that we suffering, all the things that we will want, we all have to get it in our head that is the government. What's the problems we have? Many people want jobs. Who is the person to generate jobs or heat up the economy? Whether it be by construction or what? The government, our government, is the largest spender in our economy. Our private sector is not bigger than our government. Hence the reason the private sector fights up, talk to, have some MPs going on yacht, drinking Johnny Walker Blue, maybe on in a penthouse. Because them negotiating for what we negotiating for too. The only thing is them getting the bulk of it. And we are demanding now that the money is we own. Lennox, you understand why I just tell people there, boy? That these people just
telling them to get
talk
back
to them now.
Box drain government, where that suggested that the ordinary Joe, the ordinary person, will eat piece of that huge pie, because there is something called the PSIP. It's of course, a public sector investment program that is separate and apart from the bills that the government will regularly have to spend on, or the goods and services that they will have to acquire. And that PSIP is designed, of course, to stimulate the economy, to generate more work, and to, of course, expand the GDP by, of course, engaging in other investments. But the government has the sole responsibility to lay the platform, to lay the conditions. I think that is what you are speaking to. But as somebody was telling me during the course of the earlier break, that it appears that the Likoto Jumbi seem to have, of course, boomerang Rowley, because these debts alone signifies that quite apart, of course, from the so many other things, whether it's the closure of Petrotrin, whether, of course, is the Vincent Nelson, whether it's the Brent Thomas matter, whether it be Sandals, etc. We could go on and on. The Likoto Jumbi seem to have a turnaround, and therefore, who pays the piper called the tune? Well, of course, it appears that the tune is being called for now because of the iniquities of this administration coming into government since 2015.
More FM 104.7. The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Before I continue, let me clear the lines, because we'll have to take a little break in a little bit. People say, Andy, don't get too passionate. Come back different. I did. But with everything in me, even more. Especially when people will say, the government have nothing to do with what we are going through at this point in time.
That's a joke, not so? Who wrote that joke?
People on the streets that are uninformed, and that's why every morning, right here on 104.7 More FM, on Real Media TT on Facebook, Real Media TT on YouTube, that's why we come to you, come to them, and give them the informed information. The truth. I'll just give you one example before I open the lines. The private sector responsible for the healthcare system. Ask yourselves that. And why some of you will say every morning, the government. You're going to go and report, it's only the government. Where to go? Where to channel the energy? Because we want to live better. We must live better. Where? The private sector? Where? The healthcare system in a mess.
You are
in
totally
a
mess.
mess. Ask West Shore Medical, St. Clair Medical, and to go there, if we go in there, we have to pay we money still.
Well said.
The healthcare system. When you go by them, them improve on their system using their money. They invest in their private hospitals and make sure that their private hospitals is a place that will give the results accordingly. When it comes to treatment, when it comes to everything, the private sector, when it comes to the healthcare system, they did their homework. And if we had to get involved within their homework and get the type of care that we need there, we have to fork out money, personal money. We have to. So, for all the naysayers that saying every morning, when all the maxi taxi drivers, PH drivers, trucks, all of you that are driving out there, no matter what you're driving, hitting potholes, that the private sector. Look, I'm raising the issues in which we are going through in Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. And how could we all be truthful to ourselves and exclude the government in the problems that we are facing today? How? The people that is deal with tourism is the private sector. What the government is doing to generate or to have a better, vibrant tourism sector in Trinidad and Tobago. And then how they can do it if they are in charge of dealing with the crime situation. Hence the reason many people don't want to come here. So please, each and every one of you in your homes, in your maxis, in your taxis, when people come around you and tell you whatever we're facing is not the government, you know that's a sick person. You know that person need help. That person ain't too good in their mind. So hence the reason most everything that going on in this program will have everything to do with we want to live better and the government. All the taxi, all the drivers, that these ridiculous points, merit points going on, like the private sector. Lennox Smith, before I take a call, I hope that they understand.
I think they do. It's just that they are being recalcitrant and they are in a state, I won't say perpetual, but certainly temporary denial. Because to whom much is given, much is expected. And they must know that we gave the government the whole treasury to manage for a specific period. That period will end, of course, the second term next year. They must know that. To whom much is given, much is expected. We gave them the whole treasury to manage. So to come to say that you are not responsible for crime, or you're not responsible for the economy, or that the people have hambugged you from doing what is required. You never told us that when you wanted the job. You, the person who is saying that we only talk about the government and the government is not responsible. Yes, the government is responsible. It is the facilitator to make certain that there's a smooth running of the economy, whether it be the Ministry of Health, whether it's the Ministry of National Security, whether it's the Ministry of Agriculture, whether it is, of course, the Attorney General's ministry or department, whether it's the Office of the Prime Minister, whether it's the Ministry of Sports, whether it's the Ministry of Culture, whether it's the Ministry of responsible for tourism, and we can go on and on. The government is responsible. Do not let Dr. Rowley and they otherwise get out of office. And if the argument is to be sustained, then take no money, Rowley. Take none of the monies from our treasury that we are paying you to assist us with. It is our money. I want that to be told, and therefore we want a better life. We want a better living. We want to make certain that we can advance smoothly, that our children and our children's children can benefit from the spoils of the country, and the role and responsibility to have a quality of life and standard of living that all of us aspire is the role and responsibility of the government. They must facilitate, because we gave them. To whom much is given, much is expected. The money in the treasury is ours. Do not allow Rowley, Imbert, Young, etc., including, of course, this fella Hines, to hoodwink you and gaslight you into believing something that does not exist. Without you, they could not have been there, but they turn it around in an attempt, of course, to try to hoodwink, deceive, and to, of course, get unmerited access to wealth, fame, favor, and government. Understand that. We have to live better. We must live better. We must demand to live better.
Turn down your volume, caller. A pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Ali.
Good morning to you, Christian.
Good morning, Lennox. Lennox, you're right in a way. The local zombie has taken control of Trinidad. Look at the state of this country right now. The PNM government under Rowley, this wicked prime minister, have to take full responsibility for what is going on in our country. So don't come and tell me you're not to be blamed for crime. or the economy or whatever. It's you, is the prime minister. According to Lennox, when they wanted the job, they didn't say that. You wanted the job. You get the job now. What is the problem? Health Minister Terence delicing. It's taking so long to get a report of these babies and them to find what's going wrong. Huh? This is nonsense. Look at the General Hospital in Port of Spain. You the health minister. All these hospitals, health facilities has failed. They what's me? It's in a serious state under you by Terence delicing. You has failed. Rowley, you is the one to blame because you know why? You went to Tobago and you worked this local zombie and put it on Manning and it affect the whole country. It's only blood. Every day is blood. According to yourself, the country are washed in blood. To who? Kamala? The UNC? It's you to be blamed. You once made a statement when you was opposition leader that if the government cannot handle crime, well then they are part of it. Today you in government, you in power, you in charge, and what you doing? Nothing. Nobody gonna raise a pay. Me here the health minister in your government. Me here you saying a word about the workers and them. Nothing. All the care, all the deliver what? Wicked obeah man like you, a deceitful, wicked man. Knocked on.
I never thought I would have to say this about Krishna, but Krishna go to the top of the glass. Very good analysis.
Good morning, caller. Where you calling from? What's your contribution in the ground report this morning?
Good morning, Andy.
A pleasant good morning to you, Santa Cruz. Go ahead.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Lennox, Mikey,
good morning
Newbie,
well,
and to everybody outside here. Good morning, Andy. First, I want to congratulate you for that interview yesterday. Now, I just want to put out something out there, right? Now, we all know that Vashish Maharaj is a Pandey supporter, a Michaela supporter, right? Now, I was expecting him to come bashing Kamala because that's all he does. But I was very much surprised that he didn't. And what he revealed here yesterday was shocking. He just put the icing on the cake for us. But you see, Andy, some people feel that we shouldn't attack the church or whatever. When Archbishop Harris
was I'm glad you're going on the show, you know, because all the ground report did is facilitate as we supposed to anybody. And believe it or not, just that interview, them don't start to be on Andy Williams already, you know. I go tell you what's going on, you know. Them don't start what? And they're on Andy Williams now, you know. Because but eventually it will raid head and everybody will see.
But
based on our interview, based on the kind of that.
But let me
boy, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, let me tell you. When Archbishop Harris of the Catholic Church, Archbishop Berkeley of the Anglican Church, all the pastors and them were standing on their pulpit between let me don't leave out this one. Nolly Clark was standing on their pulpits between 2010 and 2015 and demonizing the partnership government, Kamala government. It was all right. It was good. Archbishop Harris said that he know people leaving this country by the droves because of the crime situation. Right? Where is he today? Where is Harvey? Where is the list of 40 people that leaving? How many people has died? I sure it's close to 180 already in maybe 115 days. Archbishop Berkeley in his 2015 Easter message said Hold strain, hold strong. A resurrection is coming. That man stood on his pulpit and regurgitated everything Rowley was talking about corruption and nepotism. He didn't want to find out if Rowley was lying or if Rowley was telling the truth. He and Archbishop Harris spoke about the emails. They never condemned Rowley one day what it is Rowley did. Right? So they must continue to do what they want against the UNC, and we must sit down and take it. I came out against them. And who want to hate me, go right ahead. Is this the resurrection that he spoke about, Archbishop Berkeley of the Anglican Church spoke about? 19 babies died last year. 11 died a couple of weeks ago. You coming to tell me the nurses in NICU traumatized. What happened to the parents? Not a word from the church, the Catholic, the Anglican, nobody. But Pastor Dutton, not a word from him neither. But he went to congratulate Paré for stepping out of his bounds. That is what is important to these people in this country. You hear? Who want to vex with me, go right ahead. I raised it a few weeks ago. I asked the question, is the Mahasabha a PNM party group? Because of my understanding, Rohan were helping them. If I'm wrong, well, I stand corrected. But why it must be wrong for some and right for them? Why it must be like that? We went after Harvey. Well, like a hypocrite, he was walking around the parliament because they didn't like what he said about his boy Rowley. That same Nolly Clark telling the unions, keep the partnership government on their toes. Look at what's happening today in this country. Murder by the minute. We're falling into potholes all over the country. And they not saying a word. Once Rowley filled the basket for them. Once they pass that basket and Rowley filling it, they have nothing to say. That is not right, Andy. Because what was good for the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church in terms of correcting them, it should be good for everybody across the board. Everybody across the board should be getting it. You hear? Now we have one on the chat this morning, a Marky Thunder Bum Bum or something, so is his name, talking about give Dr. Rowley a chance. He taking us into the promised land. What promised land? The man is a Judas goat that taking us into the pits of hell. Right now we living in hell. Look at how many babies die in the queue that should be under their care. And you talk about promised land? You talk about give Rowley a chance? To do what? Finish us off? Finish us off? Is that what we have to put up with every morning, hearing this nonsense? I don't think so at all, right? And as I said already, Andy, nobody is paying me, not that I'm asking for anything, And if I see an issue in the country, I am very well going to raise it. I am going to raise it. I'm sorry if anybody feel offended by that, but that is how I feel. Because too many things went on against the partnership government and Mrs. Prasad Bisesa and still going on. And as a supporter of her, I am going to stand and talk about it. Right? Another issue I want to raise here this morning. I am asking a question. We all know that Blue Waters got land, state lands, from Patrick Manning. When Mrs. Prasad Bisasa came in, yes, they continue with the contract or whatever. I am asking a question this morning. Is it true that the government is paying Blue Waters for the land that they got from the state in order to pass the highway through there? I'm asking a question.
What?
And is it true?
Wait. The land by Orange Grove?
Right.
Yeah. That was state land.
Right, that is state land.
Okay.
They got that land free.
Yeah, and they had plenty coconut trees and things planted up on it. Coconut trees.
Why are you paying them for the land?
So the government buying back the land that they lease them from them?
Also, is it true that Rohan Sinanan have land in the back there too? This is Trinidad, Tobago and Rohan land. The man had land all over the place like he owned Trinidad and Tobago. But you see this thing that's going on with Blue Waters is shades of Milshiv. Lennox could remind people about Milshiv. You hear? Imagine Rahel bought the land from state land. They give Rahel the contract to build the highway. They give Rahel the contract to draw the plans for the highway. Then they give Rahel how much lease for how much years. You understand? Corruption will never finish under this PNM government. And who want to sit back and take it? Go right ahead. I struggling to pay property tax. I don't want to lose my home. Right? In addition to having to pay property tax, you have to see about your personal care. Eyeglasses, dentist, medication, going to a proper doctor because you're not getting the kind of help in the health center. You understand? And we must sit down and take all this crap that's going on here. I don't think so, Andy. And who want to sit down at home and play keyboard warriors and want to vex when Santa Cruz talk? I don't care about all you. Because at the end of the day, none of all you paying a bill for me. None of all is handing me a hot cup of or even water. You hear? And if all they don't like what I say, too bad. Too bad. But I'm going to stand strong and I'm going to fight with Mrs. Pasabi says so. Right? Now, Pare team has a new tagline. Standing on your shoulders. He's standing on Pandey's shoulder. This one's shoulder, that one's shoulder. That's your new tagline. He sounded just like the PNM standing on Eric Williams' shoulders. So you see birds of a feather? So they take that this morning and smoke it. Thanks a lot, Andy, and have a good one.
Thank you very much. I must say pleasant good morning to the people of Toko Sandy. Well, I'd already said the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. But I know you, Trinidad and Tobago, know where my interests lie. I want to be given the opportunity to serve the people in Toko Sandy Grande, Valencia. Given the opportunity to show the people that for once somebody could be real and do what I do. Valencia, pleasant good morning to you. Sandy Grande, good morning to you. From Motura straight to Matlat, Toko, good morning to you. As we all know, and with your help, we're gonna get there. They say Toko Sandy Grande is a PNM seat. I am saying that in the next general elections 2025, Toko Sandy Grande will be a UNC seat. Because everybody all over Toko Sandy Grande, Valencia, with God by God is what make it possible, and with hard work, sacrifice. One of the main names that are calling is Andy for Grande. And the people are saying because Grande for Andy. Let's go to the lines. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good morning to you, my brother. It have been long. It's nice hearing you this morning.
Andy, Mikey K and Lennox and Trinidad and Tobago.
Me and you had a talk, eh? Me and you had a talk. We had a talk. All of us, plenty of you all out there had a talk. Just an interview. Here, why Malcolm X? A simple interview yesterday.
Listen.
The Rambly team. Well, no, I'm not say that. A simple interview yesterday.
I heard it.
Mischief already starting to be made in my direction.
Listen, Andy.
Yeah, boy. Wow.
This country, I tell you.
Victimization.
Boy, but Christ get victimized. He know you were dead and he had to keep up. He know. So what you have to do, you throw them thing behind your back. Because let me tell you something. All the talk, people talking. Nothing wrong with Camilla Bisessan. It's the people, just as the same people, we are wrong Basil Pandey, we are wrong Manning, we are wrong Rowley. Sometimes it's wolf in sheep clothing. We're on self-power and not on country. And you see right now, if I had to vote between Rowley and Camilla, I'm telling you, born in a P&M house, I will vote for Camilla, boy. Because Rowley ain't really running this country. It's inboth running this country. And when you listen, you know how long I talk on this radio station about that Orange Grove land that we Blue Water take, and none of the people who planned that land and worked that land, none of them children ain't get a lot there. So when you hearing this kind of thing now that the state had to buy back state land, right? Then when you hear how the lawyer talk yesterday, when you hear the next brother we talk about the history at the BLP, the P&M and the Badis and the Sanka, and then when you watch the TV last night on the news, a woman get bungs and people, African woman, you know. That's why you see I always telling all your Trinidad and Tobago, we's we own problem. African woman get bungs, and if you hear people in the background, boy, it's good for she and Ian Allen. I listen to that, boy. I feel sad. I say, look at my people. When all you're done, all you're talking about the Indian, all you're talking about the Chinese, all you're talking about the 1%. Wait is we doing to uplift by saying it good for she foot break. Boy, that was hard, boy. And then boom now, you hear she son and the woman or whoever it is get killed. Who is them? The same African again. Because we don't want to recognize ourselves as African because we live with mine in Africa. The Indian and them uniting the Chinese and them because they know where their mine is. Them Indians still have all the program and they talk. When you talk so now, they go say Malcolm X racial. Me no racial, I born in Pondicherry Sour. I grew up under Kamal hold me a baby. I know Chang Kamaraj. I went to El Tico Islamic. So when everybody talking, boy, Andy, let me tell you something, I hear this minister held last night, boy. That man on the news. See what this man saying now? The people who was protesting by the Children's Hospital in Couva, that them is a UNC people. And through them protesting as UNC people, it caused 20 people not to get cataract surgery. What's wrong with these people, boy? It's only in Trinidad these things is happening. No? So when you want to tell me, where all them people were waiting on the cataract and the different thing months now, years now, and they can't get, it's only because them people protest. It's because 20 people life could have been in danger. Boy, this is the kind of stupidness. These wicked people. Yeah? Then when you do so now, you see NIPDEC people protesting. The board, just like AGC, the board, everybody agree with certain things and they're waiting on inboard. Boy, who is inboard, boy? Inboard can't go nowhere else on in Trinidad and do them kind of thing, boy. And everybody just walk back. Everybody just had these people doing me where we want, boy. How we children and them balling, we children and them suffering, boy. And inboard just taking we money and refurbishing, billing, because that is where the kickback come in. The kickback come in. It's not by going in the treasury how they say UNC thief money. You know. It's not so where they wanted to give people a belief like UNC just walk in the treasury and thief money, you know. But them, they know the corruption getting worse. The corruption is the highest now. Because if UNC thief, well then UNC thief teach all you how to thief more. Because where we gain? You still was getting something from the thief. Tell me where we gain. Them children get the best Christmas party. And I just want the callers to just bear with me because here we're going. I find us citizens of this country, we taking too much. That minister, you know, I was looking for the Minister of Health to say last night in the press conference, well, you know, we fixed the boiler. We fixed the room where they say can't sanitize the thing for the baby. The babies. Anything people want here. Let we hear immediately. You get money. Then you hear now the Prison Protesting Association and saying no money. Where the money really going, Mr. Inbert? Mr. Inbert, all you, that is not all your money. I paying tax, I paying NIS, I paying health surcharge. All your way we money going. Trinidad and Tobago, all you wake up and let we ask for accountability. As I asking now in this reform thing where they say they're going and have. It's time for politicians, public servants, like them PS and all them MD and all them big names must answer for how they're managing the state money where they're getting traveling, house allowance, upkeep, and all these for. Let me tell you something. I want to see in Trinidad, they start to lock up people. And I would like we to really have a gang to start to lock up people. We have the money mismanaged, boy. All you have a good day, boy. I go stand by what I saying, and I ain't changing my clothes. But you see all you, we're fighting on Camilla. All you, we're seeing power. All you ain't seeing country, you know. All you seeing power. Because all you ain't looking to join and adjust the ground, support the ground report in coming out. And let we start to kick up again the wrong way Rowley and the whole team doing. The six, boy, what they call them, boy? It's a name where they tell me the six something. We name Lennox might remember the 40 thieves or something. It had a story with that. Trinidad, this is we country, you know. And right now, a child weighs 6 years, 7 years, ensure a lazy future, you know. And I have a grandchild of 6 years, you know. And if I had to see he's suffering after I contribute so much to this country, boy, I rather die for something, boy. I gone.
Oh Lord.
Good morning, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Good morning, ground report.
Alibaba and the 40 thieves, boy.
Lennox.
Go ahead, Mr. Talapuna. I thought I should just help my friend who just was just before you there. Alibaba and the 40 thieves he's referring to.
I think the word Malcolm X was trying to think is narcissistic. I believe when he talked about some sick something. So I believe it's.
No, you talk about the story about the 40 thieves. Alibaba and the 40 thieves, yes.
Okay, let me get on.
It's an Oriental fable. Go ahead.
Firstly, I want to congratulate the ground report because it's only the only station that get interviews like that one. But I want to applaud a lot for bringing Vashish Maharaj and let him clear the air and give people first-hand information. And history then as things unfold in the country. That's one. Secondly, I want to say this. Now that the Pahu people is here, I want to make appeal that the Pavo people mustn't just meet with the medical people. When I say the government personnel, I want them to meet with the families who suffer this tragedy. I want them to meet with the nursing association. I want them to meet with the medical board and what have you. Because here why? If they just take the information coming from the government side, this whole thing could be just a exercise in futility. Because everything we know, just like when Imbot and them, they present information to these credit rating institutions, they just give them all kind of wrong information, and then they could pass the judgment. So therefore, I would want to say that PAHO must meet with all these people, the nurses, the doctors association, and the parents and them and what have you. Now, that's as far as that is go. I want to say something, Lennox and Andy. The procurement regulator, which is one Beverly Khan, I don't know where the hell, just as the last one, Munila Lalchan, sat on his butt, getting a fat salary and did absolutely nothing. And when the public outcry, then he come out and play, he want to do this and that. Because the same thing I've seen with this Beverly Khan. Because there are a number of things that requires the procurement regulator to step in and have make the input. And she's doing absolutely nothing. So better you just as well, Beverly Khan. And you had to go. Now we're coming to the health issue now. The board of the medical board, that is, with Lisa Agard and all them, and the doctor that they fire. Me sorry for them. I want them to fire Lisa Agard and all of them, because I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. Just as Munila Lalchan and all those people who sat in high office get the position, but they don't want the responsibility. You get the top position, you're getting salary. Lisa Agard only wasn't aware of all these problems that was going on in the health institution, the failure, the boiler, and all the things that to do with the sanitation and the whole hygiene of the ward and what have you. You all sit there and did absolutely nothing. And I am calling that all you, just as what you did with TSTT, is only when the public outcry. All you had to step out on all your creeps from early o'clock. This is why you see the lady who the whistleblower from TSTT, I forget her name, Lennox, you could help me, who came out and speak out without getting any compensation or whatnot. And she didn't mix words, she didn't put water in her mouth, but she came and speak out about all this kind of fictitious money thing, that this investment and thing by Matsi and by TSTT and all this kind of thing that's going on, I think. By Matsi, sorry. She come out brave and she said that so is taking place. I want people who in high office, who have responsibility, must be brave and bold, have the breasticular and testicular fortitude to come and speak out. Let the nation know what's going on. Or let us just sit down there and accept it as gospel truth. I also want to talk about this. You could imagine our education system, our health system, our security system, our, you name it, utilities and everything. Because you have Gonzales lying to the people about TSTT, about WASA, and so much other issues, the Postal Workers Union, and and all these things. But Rohanson and the roads, and what is strange about it, we have not heard how much money that the government paid Rohanson and for the acquiring of his property by Kedona there to build that overpass. We have up to this day, because Rohanson and said he did not receive a cent up to then when the last question was raised in the parliament. But strange enough, all were big mega project highway, because the one going up to in the back of the Valencia, going up in the back, the new highway they built, plus here in this one with Blue Waters, plus the one with the overpass. Anywhere that the government, this is planned and organized crime, that where Rohanson and where they're going to do certain things, Rohanson and buying land, because here why, he is the kingpin, the dealer for the PNM, where money is reimbursed to the PNM. This is why you see this Balize house. And as I say, all these contractors and everybody, Rohanson and all of them involved in this. I don't shame and hesitate to call her the junior Sami, the Kusal, and all of them, with Rohanson and all of them. This is organized crime. And the PNM uses these people. Now, I want to just draw the attention to something, fellas. And they are craving a little extra time because Malcolm X and Santa Cruz get the extra time. I had the fortune, you see that?
I like it, you know. That one I like it, you know. You come across there now because he's a serious man. You just really bring the serious issues. We now come across like a little child. Yeah. I craving the extra time, you don't get in it here. Because Malcolm X and Miss Santa Cruz, them get them own. Go ahead, Mr. Tunapuna, my brother. Go ahead. There's a child in everyone. Go ahead, my brother.
Let me tell you something. Vashish Maharaj is a few houses from me, born and grew up. Lennox, where I live at. See, I was fortunate because Vashish Maharaj, his uncle, who's my friend, I was fortunate with him to meet Dr. Tim Gopi Singh. I was fortunate with him to meet Patrick Manning because he and Patrick Manning, they went to Mona, Jamaica together. And when he died, that's Vash's uncle, Patrick Manning was at the funeral and he said some things and whatnot, and like a eulogy then and whatnot. And he mentioned that when they stole the bell in Mona, Jamaica, because they always reached back late for class or what have you. But in addition to that, now Patrick Manning wasn't an MP yet. He was in fact in politics. And when he left, because we were linemen together, and same time Patrick Manning pulled up. And then he told me, he said, look, I want to meet this guy. He's my friend from so. And then after when Patrick Manning left, he told us, he said, this is a man, Eric Williams, single-handedly grooming into the politics. Brilliant fella, he said. However, now I want to just show you something, Andy. Look what the hypocrisy of this country. When my daughter born in 1986, Andy, at the Port of Spain General Hospital, the person who was in charge of the neonatal clinic, but you know who? Patrick Manning's sister, Dr. Petronella Manning. Brilliant woman. Because the same fascist uncle who was a doctor who went to school with Manning, when I told him, I said, well, boy, they put my daughter in the intensive care thing, or whatever it is in the when they now babies now born in the neonatal ward and thing. And he tell me, he said, Peter, you go down there and you ask to speak to Petronella Manning. That is Manning's sister, and he know through Patrick Manning as their schoolmates and things together. And when I tell you was a genius, the woman is a brilliant woman. She was the head of the neonatal clinic at the Port of Spain General Hospital. I thought when they had to put somebody as the Minister of Health, I said probably, boy, I thought Patrick Manning was going to put his sister. I won't mind. And I think people won't mind. Because, you can't put family in this top position and whatnot and thing. Because you got to look kind of family thing and whatnot. But she was so brilliant that when I hear this show, you know who Patrick Manning put as the Minister of Health, Andy? Lennox? John Rahal. A cloth man, a store owner, and you leave out an expert. And you put John Rahal, it's just going to show you that the 1% was calling the shot, who they want, where they want, and how they want. They would put them there. And at that point in time, when Petronella Manning was in charge of the neonatal clinic, there was no death. There was nothing untoward at that hospital. And this is why I had said to my friend, I said, well, why the hell Manning don't make his sister the Minister of Health? And why you had to pick Rahel? But because you're right, the way how the politics play, you had to listen to the song of and dance to the drum of the 1%. So, Andy, this is the critical situation that we have here. It just goes to show that the PNM have to dance to the drum and the song of the PNM. And in addition to all of this, what I just said, I want to say this. You see the Bridget, and he said, George, that woman who does get on like a labas rat and a labas kobo, who keeps stifling the opposition when they ask it, putting and question that all of the key and fundamental issues taking place right now. As the boat that turned over in Tobago, the thing with his babies dying, and all the other issues that is critical to this country that people want information on. And every time the opposition raises this in Parliament, this damn woman that shut down the opposition. I am saying because I see now that just recently the Speaker of the House in South Africa, they have a face in the court for misbehavior in public office. And
but the last one, I ain't continue because I'll be continue because I had to take a break. But you go ahead.
I see now the Speaker of the House in America is facing the thing too. And I am saying that this woman cannot be allowed to do what she's doing to the detriment of this country, and that by not making the government accountable and answerable to the legitimate legal opposition when they asking pertinent questions as it relates to the state of the country affairs, Andy. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much. Hey, let me say pleasant good morning to Darren Mohan, Council for Vega de Urupu. Neely Silva, a pleasant good morning to you. KK, good morning to you. Mrs. D. Silva, good morning to you. Nasser Hussein, Council Nasser Hussein, good morning to you. Wow, I had to take a break and come back. I have an interview to do when it be with the corporations. Calvin Sitaran, a pleasant good morning to you.
The Massey executive that exposed the necromancy that has taken place in Massey, her name is Angelique Parisot Potter. So that's the name that he was looking for and asked me to assist him with. So just want to share that with the public. Angelique Marisot Potter, that's the woman who, of course, and still, of course, has some legal challenges for compensation. I think she asked them for $100 million to leave the company if they want her out, having regard to the exposure of engaging, of course, in should I say, necromancy and obia and voodoo as part and parcel of their corporate, should I say, activities hired by a firm in the United States, Florida to be exact, and utilizing foreign exchange so to do. So that was important, of course, to put it in perspective. But let's go ahead. We have a lot of work. We have a lot of things to talk about, and of course, I want to focus on Miss Santa Cruz's bold arrangement that she talked about in Tobago. Slightly off, but of course we can clarify that because we don't want, of course, to we have a duty to protect not only ourselves but of course our callers who mean well and may have misunderstood, for want of a better term, maybe a particular development that we have to clarify. But that being as it may, of course, we go for the break, and when we come back, more on this edition of the Ground Report.
Bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Looking for top quality and affordable hardware supplies? Then look no further than Midland Hardware, number 97 Eastern Main Road, Aruka. We stock a wide range of tools, water tanks, blocks, lumber, steel, and everything you need for your home and business project. Check out our new display of steel windows and assorted designs of metal curtain rods. Midland also stockpiles sand, gravel, topsoil, and more. We have a variety of kitchen faucets, face basins, and toilet sets, bathroom mat sets, all garden tools, hand tools, generators, power washers, and water pumps. Customers can make payments via links, credit card, online payments, and cash on delivery. WhatsApp 327-7761 for free quotations, or give us a call at 646-2144. Open every day, Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. From foundation to finish, it's all at Midland.
For over 100 years, radio has been the most accessible, and to date, it's still the most listened to medium everywhere. More FM 104.7 is programmed so you can hear us everywhere. Never miss a beat. This station and its programming is fit for the listeners everywhere with the most variety in Trinidad and Tobago. You are guaranteed to reach your target market with More FM 104.7. Get more sales, get more clients. Book your ads today by calling us 221-4913.
Fuck it together when you're rolling a friend. Or movie night when you're home on the ends. Beach slime, house slime, every time's a good time. KFC in every bucket you'll find. Ooh, it tastes so good. After party is a mood. Let's bucket together. KFC is the perfect partner to make your good times much better. Gather round and enjoy the fun with KFC bucket together.
Bucket took 8 pieces of chicken and 3 regular sides for only $139.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
A lucky homeowner will win a brand new car. Yes! A brand new Mitsubishi Expander Cross. Yes, park in your 4-vehicle parking space. Limited availability. Get in a gear with DG Homes' newest gated community, Daniel Estate. The oasis of Cunupia will satisfy your needs for a new lifestyle. Beautifully designed, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, modern interior, sophisticated finishings, with superbly manicured landscaped green spaces, front and backyard included, starting at $1.65 million. Call now and book a viewing. 691-5659. Beautiful home, beautiful car, beautiful life. Home is DG Homes, Daniel Estate, Cunupia.
Trinidad and Tobago, welcome Mr. Keith Anthony Blair, the original fireman, Anthony B. Anthony B. Anthony B.
We water pump, we cool and deadly, we go dancing.
The World of Reggae, Saturday, June 8th, Queens Park, Savannah, featuring Anthony B.
Take about the good life with the good vibes. Your virgin is your virgin, sister is your sister.
Anthony B. with full band, headline performances by the legends of reggae, Shadow Ranks, Barrington Levy, Maxie Priest, Shawn Mason, and more. For more info, visit Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Keywords World of Reggae. Brought to you by the Ricky Ragunanan Group of Companies and DG Homes.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Need quality printing at affordable prices? Then look no further. At Graphic Source, we've got you covered. Take your project to the next level for all your designs and printing needs. From t-shirt printing to labels, signs, and banners. Look no further. Business stamps, flyers, tickets, and invites, just to name a few. With 2 convenient locations. Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine, opposite Massey Stores. And Arima Shopping Center, Broadway Street, Arima. Contact us today. 342-2664, 270-0428, or 360-8917. Graphic Source, your #1 source. You name it, we design it and print it.
Masha, I ain't gonna lie, by La Luna was real nice. I feel I want to try a thing, girl.
You serious? Let me hear you. Try a thing.
Yeah, man. Done it up. Anything we say, me never allowed done it up.
So, no. The talent that came here at La Luna, yeah, ready for them yet? No. Sunday, 28th of April, Kirby's Bar and Lounge comes alive. Chase Village in Chaguanas, as it's the Kiskity Caravan Talent Search comes along. Bring your talent and come. Can you sing? Be sure to bring your flash drive with your accompanying music if so needed. It's all about the relaunch of the Kiskity Caravan. Auditions start promptly at 2 p.m. Be on time. No matter your talent, bring it and come. And follow our TikTok page today, Iconic 1047. Just look for our logo. Be there this Sunday. Cause you feel as though you alone practicing. You feel as you alone practicing. Unbreak my heart.
Hey, oh God, your voice husky like a coconut. That man get through.
More music festival. The rainy season is here, so be weather smart and change your tires to handle the nation's wet roads. After all, you don't want to be the one to cause any accidents, do you? So why not check out Racetrack Wheels right now? They're the only one that gives you quality tires to hold the road properly. And to top it off, Racetrack Wheels carries all sizes of tires for all makes of vehicles. They are the sole distributors for Salem and Achilles tires. These tires carry a full manufactured warranty and is the #1 tire for comfort and performance in this rainy weather. We have the latest rims in all sizes, all at drastically low prices. We also do blank wheels that could be drilled to your vehicle specification. It's all about new technology and keeping ahead of the game.
So hurry on down to Racetrack Wheels, 3 locations: 330 Eastern Main Road, Aruca, 82 Bethany Road, Bucco, Tobago, and 64th Southern Main Road, Chase Village. Or call 285-9168.
So my friend, take it from me and be weather smart this season and change your tires right now at Racetrack Wheels.
Saturday, 11th May. It's the ultimate partying pleasure where fashion meets passion in black. Kabuki's Black, the event. Kabuki's Black.
Kabuki's Black.
We return to paradise, the scenic and exclusive La Soledad Maraca St. Joseph from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Mom, come celebrate with Ken Simmons and Shotmaster J, Kevin Baker and DJ Junior, DJ Elo, Howie T and TC, Smokey and Kevin X, hosted by Kabuki. The night before Mother's Day, 1 cocktail and premium bar and exquisite food court. Advance tickets $300. Available at Bobby's Bar, Curab, Sensational Sammy Seafood Plus Arima, Hearty Foods Arima, Fats Arima, and Trinity, and Sylvester's Bar. For more info, call 712-9657 and 786-1455.
I need a little runaway. Lauren coming home for Ghana.
The night before Mother's Day is Kabuki's Black.
Put food on your table. ADC is affordable. Shop at ADC Supermarket, Cleaver Road. A very comfortable and clean environment. These prices are unbelievable. Come see for yourself. We have the best alcohol prices. Don't miss out. Get those specials on liquor. Put food on your table with ADC Supermarket, conveniently located at number 4 Cleaver Road in Arima. Every Friday and Saturday is real vibes and live entertainment from your very own DJ Christian on Friday and Saturday. Everyone is talking about ADC Supermarket. Shop in comfort and in a clean environment with the best prices for all your grocery needs. Secured parking. Remember, free delivery. Put food on your table. ADC is affordable. ADC Supermarket, number 4 Cleaver Road in Arima. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Welcome back. Of course, time check is just 3 minutes past the 8 o'clock. And of course, we continue to take your calls. Of course, before the break, we had a little very, very interesting development. And of course, I reference Miss Santa Cruz contribution, and just to add and to, of course, in the process, generate some clarity as well. But it appears generally that this government has found to put in private hands state resources and then utilize the resources, particularly real estate land, in order to get unmerited. And if they weren't in that position, would not have been able to acquire sudden and windfall of wealth that we are seeing being bandied about and being, of course, exhibited by members of this government. And they're utilizing state land and the state assets, whether it be, of course, in urban area or in rural area. And the concerns must be one that has to be shared, because at the end of the day, what they are doing is accumulating wealth unmeritoriously for their personal aggrandizement and to continue, of course, to do evil by acquiring, or should I say, deceptively staying in government in order to continue against the best interests of the nation. What am I speaking about? Well, I will reference 3 areas. The Greenvale matter, the Chauvin matter, yes, of what Miss Santa Cruz referenced, and most recently, the headquarters of the Ministry of Health, where state lands or private lands were used in such a way so as to provide windfalls for the players, all of whom the common connector or the common thread is that they are connected to the PNM. Let us go first, of course, with when Dr. Rowley was Minister of Housing. The Rahels owned the piece of land that I consider to be a lake bed that was acquired for agricultural lands, that was acquired as if it was residential lands. There was no approval by Tongue and Country for those lands, yet still those buildings that are now considered to be part of the Greenvale housing development was constructed under Keith Christopher Rowley as Minister of Housing. I have all the documentation, so that goes without saying. And the involvement of his wife, she has a beautiful signature, and the acquisition of assets, are talking about equipment, etc., utilizing that's either the contract that was handed to a company connected to these players or close to these players, and the signature of the Prime Minister's wife as witnessing, of course, a particular arrangement with a bank in order to utilize just the contract in order to acquire equipment, whether it be cement trucks, etc., in order to construct that great Greenvale. So that is one aspect of it. So the utilization of that piece of land as residential, that was bought as agricultural land, never transferred. And of course, the Dr. Boterari, as Minister of Planning, did in fact make reference to it, and he had to do some magic in order, of course, to regularize that situation caused by Dr. Rowley under his watch when he was Minister of Housing. But let's go to the Chauvin, or that arrangement that was called the Bolt arrangement. Bolt referred to as the acronym for build, B for build, O for own, L for lease, and then, of course, the T for transfer. what transpired with that piece of land, it was ostensibly to construct a building for the agricultural entity in Tobago under the auspices of the Tobago House of Assembly. So here what transpired. A son of Rahel owned the land. The land was bought by the THA for millions of dollars. And then the same piece of land was then leased back to the Rahels in order to construct the building, which would eventually be, the piece of land was leased back for peppercorn. I think it's about $100 or something like that. It could be less, but the point is that it was leased back to them so as to use it in order to build that facility, and then it will now be transferred to the THA under the PNM, of course, administration. Then, once they finish, pay for it of over $300 million. So they get a double bite at the cherry connected to PNM operatives. Let's go quickly, of course, to the most recent of them all. And all of them seem to have a nuance, but with one commonality: the use of state resources, whether it's financial, to get unmerited or without competitive bidding or competitive arrangement, but somehow somebody connected to the PNM always go away laughing all the way to the bank. But this last one is the greatest with respect to the headquarters of the Ministry of Health. Listen to this one. The land on which that building has been constructed is owned by the government. The government then take the land and invest it into a private company. The private company utilizes the land now as collateral to get the money to build what you're seeing there now. And then the government, we the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we now have to pay the millions of dollars that building was cost to construct, but under an arrangement that clearly is not just unsatisfactory, but reeks with corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and a government that has turned out to be, as we would always say, under a party called the PNM, a criminal enterprise. Yes, that is the latest. So they have nice terms, bold. This one is PPP, public-private partnership. And we saw, of course, a development that turned out to be a poor construct, but money would have been spent by the agency, the terrestrial issue, and we don't know yet how that has panned out. And I want to add to you, the very company, we didn't know because there was no company name there at Balize House, but we made the connection between, they didn't even bother to change the paint. So they have several containers, a container office that they would use. They had that on the southern side where they commandeered a piece of the northern real estate of the Tranquility Government Secondary School. They put that office there and was constructing the Balize monstrosity of steel, iron, and concrete. Yeah, well, that is now up at where Citrus Growers is, and recently the sun was turned for the construction of a multi-million-dollar apartment high-rise on that compound that was formerly that of Citrus Growers Association. Yes, the same. But we didn't know. Now we know the company. You could look forward to the corridor transformation where I'll give you the pictures and the names, etc., etc. So that is the kind of scheme that this government is engaged in. And you will understand why we say that it is the PNM has morphed into a criminal enterprise. There could be no other term for such a development, profligate waste scheme and criminal conduct and misbehavior in public office and orchestration to, of course, deprive you and I, the citizens of this country, who repose the responsibility for managing our affairs in the hands of this small group of individuals who have converted that entire government, captured it, and turned it into a most bizarre, dangerous development that could only harm Trinidad and Tobago's future. And that is why, and you could understand why, there is so much incompetence, what appears to be incompetence, impotence, because they are filling their own pockets unmeritoriously, gaining, of course, access to fame, fortune, and the captains of industry, and peddling their influence in order to line their own pockets, whether it be friends, the family, and, of course, lackeys of the PNM. Yes, people. So the latest is that particular building where state land was used, vested in a particular company. I'm going to give you all the details on the corridor. And then, of course, as I said, it was used as collateral now to secure the money to build that which is now the headquarters of the Ministry of Health. And the government now has to, you and I have to pay future generations, etc., in order to, of course, satisfy their greed. And the so-called Prime Minister, who tells us now that the government is on a mission to have its own offices. That is the excuse. That is the superficial, superfluous. But behind that is really and truly to line their respective pockets. I ain't reached yet where what was once landed. There are allegations relating to, of course, how Dr. Rowley's high-rise, or should I say multi-family apartment buildings is now being constructed or has been constructed. We were there for the elections, so I saw it. I went up to the security area there, and I saw it. And that some of the monies, just as how the resources, just as how we knew him and connected to, of course, the whole land date matter. Well, we understand that there may have been a similar situation developed when, of course, he decided to reconstruct the Prime Minister's office and or residence in Tobago. There might have been a similar, in other words, a dog that's sucking egg could never stop. And therefore, in this particular case, we have a duty and responsibility to stop that. And 2025 must come. And all of the investigations, criminal and civil, must ensue. Because the hole that people dig for you, especially when you are a hypocrite and you are unconvincing and that you are deceptive and that your conduct is to fly in the face of the public and to abuse the public good and to misbehave in public office and to gain unmerited wealth because of the office that you hold. We must do our due diligence and we must do what is required to make certain that the entire Rowley cabinet, I ain't talking yet, I ain't reached yet the whole question of recusals and how unprecedented that is in no democracy across the globe. That occurs, and a prime minister said that is normal business. He himself recused himself, from what we know so far, about 12 times. let us understand what we are dealing with. The PNM under Rowley has effectively weaponized government against the people. They have, of course, engaged in a criminal enterprise that undermines the public's interests, that undermines our young people from getting, of course, what they ought to, and for equitable distribution of the resources of the country. You will understand why Rowley is so insistent on subverting the rule of law, subverting the separation of powers, and his unprecedented and macabre and uncanny intrusion into independent institutions, and claiming that because they have the political responsibility that they must get more and more power so as to put their minions in place so as to continue to deceive us and to steal from us. Understand that. So that is the way that they're using the resources, and that they suddenly gained wealth, ostensibly, clandestinely, overtly, or otherwise, or obliquely. The fact of the matter is that is what is happening under this administration. Rowley will continue to say that no police, of course, is investigating his government. Of course, that flies in the face of the situation with Marlene McDonald. It flies in the face with, of course, Darrell Smith. It flies in the face with what transpired with respect, of course, to Robinson Regis. It flies in the face, of course, in the whole question of Al-Rari and the situation as far as the Nelson Gate is concerned. It flies in the face of the most recent of them all, most bizarre and most disconcerting, that of Brenta Thomas. Many of the nuances or details are yet to rear its head, but rest assured, it's nasty, it's evil, it's wicked, it's self-serving, it's egotistic, and therefore you will understand why it is they are desperate to keep government, and that they will utilize the EBC as part of their conspirators a tendency to undermine our democracy, as we have seen before, and therefore that will intensify as of course the Romans will say, who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad, and they're talking all kinds of nonsense, all kinds of what I consider to be circumlocutive talk, but nestled in pure dotishness and the inability to articulate and to rationalize, and in the process insult our individual and collective intelligence or intellect. Yes, people, we can do better. We must do better. We must recognize the reality of Trinidad and Tobago, and that Rowley and their toxicity knows no level, and we must reciprocate in like, and we must have no sympathy for them when, of course, the investigations start, whether it be criminal or whether it be civil, to get back our monies, because we have a country to save. That is critical. Yes, Andy, I return to you.
Nice. John Tobago, let's go to the lines. Oh boy, I was trying to get in contact.
Yeah, I know.
With Calvin Cicheran, or the chairman of the Sandy Grande Regional Corporation.
Any luck?
Well, because the issue is Lennox Smith that we need to raise, and it was answered back. It's of Neil De Silva, and it have many other. Well, he for at this point, because of the lack of payment for his office.
Yes, boy.
His office is shut.
Wow. Suppose, yes.
The people only get one payment. They hold on for the rest of the time, and no payment ain't come. to be able to pay the rents of these councillors. Some of these councillors in the UNC corporations, run corporations, owing for their offices to landlords.
Never prevail over good. No
And
way.
that is what going on.
Cannot prevail. Must not prevail.
When at the end of the day, Lennox Smith, that what they're doing there is to undermine Neil De Silva, is to undermine Calvin Ciceran,
as they're doing in Tobago. We know, and we are going to inform you, and you must be resolved. You must be as constant as the Northern Star and immutable like a scent. Can't change. As you go to the polls with confidence,
so
dressed with the armor of what is right must be right, and what is wrong, and go there and get them the hell out of office. 28 seat I am looking at for the UNC in Trinidad with whatever configuration they would have come up with.
But what hurting me
when that time comes?
What hurting me about this? It's the way they're going about it.
Yeah,
in order for the purchases of Sandy Grande, Toko and environs to watch at these councillors as incompetent for the general elections come, where the people, when I go to them, will say, but look, the UNC councillors not working. Look, they ain't doing this. Look, they ain't doing that. Not knowing they're being starved. That is how all they intend to win Grande.
Let me show you this what happened in Parliament. When Ramley stood up to speak in the last sitting of the Parliament, you know what happened? Led by Hines, he started trump the desk, and then Imber joined in. I watched it very carefully. I am a bit skeptical as to Rowley's rule, but the entire government side started to trump because they were smelling some kind of wedge, some kind of division to reduce, of course, the UNC. Clearly, that is what. And when Dr. Rowley was asked the question, what does he think? He said he do business with the UNC affairs, but yet still in the Parliament they were trumping because of the consequential of the statement that Ramley would have made in his, of course, attempt to pursue, as we said yesterday, some elusive internal election that is yet to be, of course, called. But what
I make clear at the end of the day, we are media, and at the end of the day, let me say, Lennox Smith, thanks so much for organizing, putting together the interview yesterday with Attorney at Law Vashish Maraj. The interview that you put together, based on what it is based on again? Why it is you put together that interview with Vashish again? Let the people know, Lennox Smith. Why did
we wanted to dispel the notion surrounding the need at this time, very skeptical, most people who have a modicum of common sense, as to the argument with respect to UNC internal election and the preemptive strike, for want of a better term, that it may not occur. And of course, whilst there are valid reasons for at minimum a postponement, because the UNC is preparing for a wily adversary called the PNM that could call an election tomorrow. But they want those who have suddenly found the need to have internal elections called, don't want us to focus on that reality and could be caught with our pants down, but to, of course, talk about an election that is yet to be.
Lennox, to talk about the election that is yet to be,
to render, should I say, non-viable a Kamala Prasad Bissessa led campaign for the next elections. that is what we saw. It's the first time I'm saying it, but that is what we saw. In spite of the fact that everybody talking about, and they have not been able to tell us who they would like to lead. Never telling us who would like to lead, and they cannot tell us why it is that you're talking now about an election that is to be. And nobody mentioned that it will not be. That's the argument. And therefore, it is clear that people are positioning themselves. Why? Because the UNC is the inevitable victor. And it appears that there are some who may not want the victory, or if they want the victory, they want to position themselves to get probably more than the fair share. We have seen it too often over the years not to be so concerned and bring that into the variables, into the nuances that are the political realities of Trinidad and Tobago today.
Oh boy. So again, people said thanks to you, Lennox Smith, for organizing that interview with Vicious Mirage.
He called me after the program yesterday, you know.
Vicious?
I didn't get a chance because I was too busy trying to outfire.
Hey. Oh boy. Wow. Let's go to the lines. Morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Lennox, why always so deceitful? All they keep calling for the PNM elections, which is due in 2025. But the UNC internal elections, which are due this year, all they make all kind of frivolous excuse. All are such a deceitful hypocrites.
It's clear, my friend, that you have a comprehension problem. You weren't listening. If you were listening, you will never come up with what you just said. So it's clear that you were one of those that were at the back of the class.
Now, Lennox Smith, very short, just make it clear that again, the political leader of the UNC said the elections will be called when it is due. 1. 2. The leadership elections of the UNC is not due till next year. The elections, what is due, is the normal average elections to pick like chairman, a treasurer, and all those various things.
That's
Rich?
That's right.
June Rich?
Don't say that to that last caller.
June
We
Rich?
understand that. But talk to the people who could apply common sense, because common sense is not as common for those persons who have a PNM agenda.
If
so
June
talk
Rich,
to the population as a whole. Go ahead.
If June Rich and he see elections, well then talk.
But built into the last caller's statement, you have to listen to them carefully, you know, is that he doesn't want the UNC to focus on preparing for a general elections. Notice that. So he started by saying a general election that is due next year. You see, because he wants the UNC to be caught with their pants down. No, my friend, you are not that bright.
Morning caller.
You are not that bright.
I had to try to get in contact with the chairman
the collective wisdom of the ground report. Go ahead.
Morning to Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, and Mikey K.
Morning to you.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Bonifasto Villalva.
Right. Yes, man. I'm glad you are pursuing the matter with the councillors, because I raised it on this radio station. You know, if you don't have deliveries for your burgesses, if you are starved, which is we know is a trick of the PNM, then your burgesses, of course, will be disappointed in you as the councillor. And as I said, what the councillors need to do is to get to the people and let them know the situation that is taking place, so that they will be abreast, they will be appraised of what exactly is happening. Mr. Lennox Smith, your document is still down the road and you need to go and collect it by tomorrow. Please, God, sir. I don't want you to lose that. I need you to have that so you will have the information and see exactly what I was saying. It is truth. More than that, last week I called in and I spoke about a young man who stabbed a young lady. Remember that, Mr. Lennox? And the young man was never arrested. He went in hiding And when he came with his lawyer at the police station, he ought to be arrested because that is wounding with intent, as you know, and I know, and also armed with a deadly weapon, because that weapon is not your weapon of trade like a coconut vendor. His weapon is a cutlass. He has to cut coconut. What is happening is that a protection order I have in front of me that was taken out against the individual, and we know the individual name is Karen Prasad, and the complainant is Ariel Timothy. And the address of where she is living, or where she used to live, is Benny Road, Paradise Circular, Valencia. The protection order states that you must not engage in any threatening or domestic violence against the applicant, physically abusing the applicant by use of a weapon or otherwise, and you could do that over a cell phone, because there are different types of abuse, we know that. Visiting the applicant's residence situated at the Benny Road, Paradise Circular, which you did, so you breached the protection order, or verbally abusing by threatening, using threatening language, which you could also do over a phone. And what I'm saying, and I'm seeing for the last how many years, a protection order is basically a waste of time, because you're having a protection order and you're still getting killed. The police is not actually enforcing breaches of protection order, and they are being killed. So at the end of it all, this protection order, and not only that, there are a lot of laws in this country are not being enforced. It is there, but it's not being enforced. And the problem is this young lady is up to now traumatically suffering. She went to the doctor recently and saw a psychiatrist, and she continued to suffer. And the gentleman was not charged, because at the end of the day, she being the victim and the witness was never summoned to come to court. There is no court hearing. So what is really going on? Based on my investigation, it is alleged that the attorney, the police, and the magistrate get some money, because nothing is happening at all, and that person ought to be the trial of course. That happened since 2022, the trial ought to be going on now. You see, and there is no trial. The person never summoned to come to court, and nothing is happening. So, Mr. Lennox, if you want a copy of the protection order, I could send it to you, so you could do some further investigation.
But would you be sending it by the same source, or you'll be sending it electronically?
Electronically.
Okay, right, good, yeah. So I'll go to the source to get that major document. Maybe I might well do that today, but I'm so engulfed and engrossed in, of course, a fireman's, should I say, a victim of fire, because the whole back seat burned up.
Wow.
But I'll get around to it. Duty calls, and I'm going to find time to do that. Otherwise, of course, I'm in my own traumatic experience resolution.
Morning, caller.
Good morning.
Go ahead, caller. Wow, caller, you got to call back. Morning, caller.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Andy.
Good morning to you. And where you calling from, and what's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
I called this morning, Andy. Give me back the number, please. Thank you.
Oh, my number 366
366
30 53.
53. Right. I want to say something to the panel. Good morning to you, Ben. And good morning to you, Malcolm X. Good morning to you, Miss Santa Cruz. Good morning to you, Miss Lawaketa. Good morning to you, Miss St. James. Well done, Malcolm X. Malcolm X, this is the short man that walk with you anytime you walk in. Blessed good morning to you and long life of you. To all the panel and all the listeners this morning, thank you very much. To hear everybody's voice, I am the blessings of Mighty God.
Thank you very much, Makano. Go ahead, next caller. Pleasant good morning to you, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning? Like we do that one.
Your message has been sent.
Oh, boy.
So, Andy, so you see the multiple
Go ahead,
ways
Colin.
that
Yeah.
will scheme the people and pretending to be holier than thou, and they're immaculate, and their moral and ethical standard is unquestionable. Bunch of vipers. Good morning.
Morning, caller.
Good morning, Auntie.
Good morning to you,
Good
Mr.
morning,
Ramnaran.
Auntie. Good morning.
Good morning.
What I want to say is that, this guy called Rambali, Dinesh Rambali, he talking about internal election. It's time that they should call an election to elect a new president of the Sanatan Dhamma Mahasabha, and also to elect a new person as Dhamacharya and replace Rampasad Parashram. It's time that they do that now. They talk about internal election in UNC party, but they're not talking about what they are doing. They are also the hypocrites. Why don't they call an election and let the people elect a president of the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha and remove Ajay Maharaj? And also remove Rampasad Parashram as Dhamacharya and put somebody else. They are also the hypocrites. Because it is long overdue. It is long overdue. They're talking about internal elections in UNC. They have to look at their own organization and try to correct themselves. Anyway, that is what I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, moving forward, we leave that to the internal operations and or politics. We wouldn't want to get involved there. Except, of course, where there's harm to the UNC and particularly the political leader. We have a duty and responsibility to speak the truth. And if the truth is one where it denies somebody from getting their way, that is not consistent with reality, then we would have done our duty.
Nice. And again, I must say a pleasant good morning to all the Mahasabha members. In no way yours truly, the Pitbull Radio, will go down or ever go down the road in which some people may be speculating or doing. What I'm here for is to show unity. And I'm asking the Mahasabha, I'm asking Rambali, I'm asking each and everyone to focus on what and who is the enemy. Because I or we don't want to get caught up in no dog fight. We only want to get caught up in unity talk. Because we all understand that the enemy is the PNM. Dr. Rowley and the PNM. Outside of that, the interview in which was broadcast yesterday, organized, put in place by Lennox Smith, on behalf of the media, on behalf of the Ground Report, he explained it again to all members, Trinidad and Tobago, what that interview was about Lennox Smith.
Yes, indeed. We have a duty and responsibility once again to defend the truth, to defend common sense, and to understand the enemy will be lurking. And I did not by accident earlier on said that it was so conspicuous that the arch enemy to the people and to this country and to all of us, the PNM, were thumping their desks when family rose to, of course, ask a question when question time was part and parcel or was on the agenda at that point in time. Everybody, and I noticed it started with Hines, and then of course Imbert started to thump. I couldn't see exactly, so I will not say that I saw him, but I will not be surprised if he did. The Prime Minister, who was, of course, at the time, because of the angle of the camera between Imbert and the head of government business, who also was thumping her desk, talking about Robinson Regis. That I could assure you of. And the entire backbench was, of course, thumping their desk when he stood up. What did that mean? It's suddenly a love for Ramley. Suddenly a love only because of what he made it clear and stated prior. And that therefore they were generating what I consider to be pseudo or false sympathy. Of course, he was updated, it appears, because he then said very magnanimously and jocularly, said, well, listen, the representative for Couva, I think one of the Couvas, just came in just about the time when they were thumping, and they said, he said, I noticed that you were thumping for him, a rare occasion. So he deflected, in a sense, attention from himself. But the reality is, and this is what the ground report is all about, we report every single nitty-gritty. Most people would have not been able to, those talk show hawks on them on the PNM side who would want to defend the indefensible would not have noticed that. But we did. And we know, and we made a connection between that and the statement that was made prior. And we thought we had a duty and responsibility to clear the air yesterday, which I think we did an appreciable job by and large. And of course, there may be those who would not like it, but those I could, without fear of contradiction, be in the vast minority until they understand, of course, all the facts, and then, of course, they will come on board. But the point about it is that we cannot afford to divide at this time. We cannot afford, of course, to create situations where you undermine the political leader of the UNC. You undermine the UNC itself by statements that could be considered to be inauspicious, inappropriate, and bad timed. And so we thought, we know we have a duty and responsibility to make sure that unity is sustained. We mean no harm to anyone, but once the ultimate objective is disruptive, or the attempt is to reduce or engage in deterioration of that, because the UNC is poised to have a handsome victory at the polls with whatever configuration, and we have a duty and responsibility over the last 9 years and before that to, of course, make certain that we remain focused and on target. No one can tell us who they want to replace. No one can tell us with any cogent argument, any potent argument as to why you really want to talk about an election that is supposed to be internal in the future, and therefore we could only conclude with the highest degree of common sense application that it is not for proper and smooth running of the UNC, and it may well be the target could be the political leader who has no role to play, and at this point in time cannot be displaced and must not be displaced. So true. We must, of course, rally around the leader in order to make certain that the victory is certain. We don't know any other leader at this point in time, whether elected or proposed.
So let me say,
and that is the reality. Yes.
Let me say, Sitaram to my Hindu brothers and sisters, all members of the Mahas. Is the Mahasa Dhamma Sabha? How we call it? How we Lennox Smith?
Well, you are not the originator, so I think you're going right there.
Well, let me you call it. Let me hear. Let me hear you call it.
That is what I would say.
The what?
Mahasabha.
The Mahasabha.
Mahasabha.
Right.
Yeah.
So to all members of the Mahasabha, all pundits that attach to the Mahasabha, Sitaram to you. And in no way the ground report through Lennox Smith interview in any way was to attack or embarrass the religion or the members of the organization in Norway. As Lennox Smith said, the interview in which he organized had everything to do with UNC MP Dennis Ramberly, Shogunas West. So to all pundits that are touched, Sitaram, God is good and truth is truth, and do enjoy each and every one of you, members of the Mahasabha, from the executive come straight down, do enjoy you all day, but the media have to do what it have to do.
Bang, bang, bang.
I think it's important too that the Rodney Charles intervention as well be mentioned in this process, because I didn't want to bring it up with Vashish, because I mean that was not the focus yesterday. But of course, he made a very, what I consider to be partially or quasi-specious argument about age. I think that was important. And I thought it was important, of course, to look at the age of prime ministers that would have, of course, become or hold that office across the Caribbean in particular, because he was looking at the one in Grenada, the one, of course, in Jamaica. But he called himself a septuagenarian, which, of course, is a person 70 years and above. But I want to make it very clear: the current prime minister in St. Kitts, the present prime minister in St. Vincent, Ralph Gonzalez, 78 years.
He's 78.
Yes. Antigua, and of course, I calculated...
Whole caller, you're going on now after Lennox Smith just gave the ages of these prime ministers. Go ahead.
Up to this year, I calculated up to this year, so whether their birthday come or not, I calculated generally up to 2024. So the Barbadian Prime Minister Motley, she is 59, so just one year before 60. Antigua, Barbuda, Gaston Brown, 57 years of age. St. Vincent, as I said, Ralph Gonzalez, 78 years. Bahamas, Philip Davis, 72 years. St. Lucia, Philip Joseph Pierre, 70 years. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister, 75 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And those who you may consider to be young, according to his argument, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them I've calculated so far. The Guyana's Irfan Ali, President, 43. St. Kitts Nevis, Terence Michael Drew, 48. Jamaican Andrew Holness, 51. Dominican Roosevelt Skerritt, 51. Grenada's Prime Minister, of course, Dickon Mitchell, 46. A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
nice.
of them.
They get the point.
As opposed to 7 that would be considered to be old in chronological, biological terms. I include Motley because she's just 1 year away from 60, and I think 60 and above.
Nice.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's a non-argument.
Nice.
And in the case, of course, of Trinidad and Tobago, we would have had, of course, as I said, Rowley, 75. Kamala would have would be 72 this year, but when she demitted office, she was 63. Then, of course, you have Bazio Pandey, 77 by the time he left politics, but 68 when he left the prime ministerial office. Patrick Manning, 64. George Chambers, maybe the youngest of them all, 57. And then, of course, Eric Williams, he left at the septuagenarian age of 70.
Nice.
So
Hold on that there.
we have laid the foundation. We have laid the facts before you, and you take it where you are, and whether or not there is an agenda built into that was attempting, of course, to misplace or displace the people that is unmeritorious or unnecessary at this time, having regard to the fact that we have elections at maximum next year. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Pleasant good morning, Andy. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago Central. Yeah.
And is
Thank
that
you guys so much for the continuous job that you all are doing to wisen up the country and let them know and be aware of what's taking place while their eyes are being closed. Now, Lennox, I am asking permission, please. I would just like to get something clear up concerning a cadastral sheet.
Okay.
It is stating after a survey, there's something kind of a little ticklish, and I'm just asking for your permission to. I will listen to when you're saying it, right? It's stating here, private treaty acquired acquisition or something so by the state. Right?
Private treaty,
in accordance with regular.
Yeah. All right. Well,
What is private? What is private treaty?
All right, let me give you an example. You notice
Well, you have to make a choice,
people-
sweetie. We only have 5 minutes.
Quickly. People who own property and the government wants it. Well, instead of giving one price for everybody, each person will go and have a private talk and negotiate with the state to get the price that you want. That's basically what it is. Private treaty.
Right, but then it's stated after that by the state. So that meaning is that the state take it back?
No, the state will negotiate with you.
Okay.
In a private treaty arrangement to get it. Yeah, that's what it means, because the state want it.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. And pertaining to the non-performing government, which is the PNM. Oh, what if your name, man, call election, man? That's what the Trinidadians waiting on. Tobago don't set the example. We need to get rid of a non-performing, bad mind, dirty PNM government out of this country for good. So just call a general election and it's start. Thank you for the information and the blessings.
Thank you very much. Because of time, tomorrow, please God. Early tomorrow, please God, we'll be discussing, we'll be interviewing a member of the council, Sandy Grandi, to deal with the issue of the non-payment of rent for the councillors in the Sandy Grandi Regional Corporation. Till one councillor, the landlord done lock up the place. The councillor can't function because the local government refused to pay the rent. And at this point in time, Neil De Silva is locked out of his office. That could never be right. All in the hopes to make the Grandi play people watch at the councillors as non-performers in order for the PNM to try to win back Grandi. That is how. Andy for Grandi already making an input already. Hence the reason all they start to pitch all over the place. Hence the reason all they getting out URP work. Hence the reason because all they have been hearing Andy for Grandi, not now, long time. And I must say to you, the people of Valencia, Toko, Grandi, just my mere utter of interest in that seat, bringing real thing for you all. That's why I'll keep uttering it. All you'll get real thing. Just now, all ain't going to have no water problems too. Remember, PNM just only try to deal with people and fix people. On an election time, remember what they do Tobago? And we're going on now. The suffering folly them. So if my work and influence, and I said reach there yet. Already have the PNM doing things for you, the people of Grandi, Toko, Valencia. At this present time, say thank God, we start working already. Lennox, make your closing comments.
Well, of course, I trust that we have disabused any notion that people would have had. And as I said, most of the arguments are specious. They are osseous, irrelevant, and that they are mere sophistry, making it look as though it is an argument that is not really a convincing argument. So there must be agendas that we are yet to let's say, be aware of from the sources, of course, but we have a fair idea that it could not be that they are concerned about internal elections on the one hand, and on the other hand, saying that they are not prepared by their conduct of not proposing a leader, and then talking about age and bringing all of that into the equation, when in fact age in this case cannot be a relevant argument, having regard, of course, to the average age of the leaders across the region. And we can go farther afield if you get us vexed. We can go to Putin, we can go, of course, to Trump, we can go to Biden, etc. And therefore, that's a non-argument. And therefore, people should come clean, come straight, and say, really, what is your agenda? And if you believe that Kamala Persad-Bissessar is a dictator, or you believe that, of course, she is wielding too much power, or that you wanted to wield your own power or position yourself when the inevitable comes, and that is to say the UNC is back in office, and we say categorically, based on constitutional, internal, and otherwise, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, unless, of course, she says otherwise, is the current leader, just completed an internal elections for that post, and the executive NATEX is yet to be consummated, meaning that is yet to be announced, but is still in the future. And don't allow, of course, those PNM sycophants, dunderheads and nincompoops to come on this program and believe that they could use reverse psychology in order to lure us into the stupefying disposition that they would have had, making it look as though they have an argument when they have no case.
It's 1 minute
see
past.
Tomorrow, people.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow, people. And see you tonight on the corridor transformation as well from 8 o'clock, both YouTube and Facebook.
All right, we are out of here.
Disclaimer. More FM Limited, its owners and associates, accepts no responsibility for statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. More FM Limited does not endorse any of the information provided during this commercially booked segment as the truth. That you have to judge for yourself. We, however, reserve the right to question statements made. But in this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and corruption, it is sometimes hard to get the truth. But we must try. It is not our intention to discriminate or annoy anyone. We believe it is our constitutional right to free speech, to voice our opinion, and our duty to the population and country to expose the truth. More FM Limited takes no responsibility for the opinions of others.